Hey creators, it's Gabby from Mindjoy and we're on project 6 already. I cannot believe our progress. So in this project, we'll be exploring looping shapes. And the reason we'll be playing with more loops is experiencing how we can make our images and artworks more creative, more engaging, and a little bit more exciting and spicy. So I'm ready to jump in and see what we can do to randomly create colors and movement to make our artworks more interesting. All right, so we're going to set up our workspace. Just go create a setup file, setup.py, and we're going to head over to our main py. Keep saying py, py. I think I must have food on my mind. Must be hungry. And just close that and then grab this little code snippet, drop that in my setup py, and you'll notice that my background color is black. And then as usual, we're going to head over to our main py and say from setup import. That's just because we want everything in our setup file to pull through to or be called to our main py, and we'll code here. Excellent, now we're set up. Time for challenge 1. In this challenge, we're gonna create a spirally artwork. We're gonna set our we can maybe say, leave a little comment in your code if you want, pen setup, just so you know what's going on. And then I'm gonna go with my pen color and keep it white for now, nice and simple, and my pen size, and I'm going to add my width, so I'm just going to go maybe 2 pixels, and then we're going to create a loop. And really try and remember how, this is just great practice to try and remember how we're going to create our loops, and kind of walk you through with some prompts. So create a loop that starts at 0 and loops until 100. The selection for your loop should include a forward 100 and a left 120, and then hit run. So why don't you pause here and see if you can create your loop. So I've created my loop, and it is a triangle, and what it is doing is it says for I in range, and I've got my 0 to 300, and then my selection is a forward 100 and left 120. And so what you can see is happening is that my triangle is looping 300 times. It's making a line 300 times. It's going forward, left, 120 degrees, 300 times. And that makes a triangle. And if you'd like to read a little bit more about why it creates a triangle, you can deep dive here. One thing to note is the angle. So this angle, the inside angle, is not 120 degrees. The outside angle is 120 degrees. And so the turtle is, remember, drawing from the turtle's perspective. So it's going, if I'm this way, I have to turn all the way 120 degrees to be able to make the inside angle 60. All right, now it says try add speed 0 before our pen color function. All right, let's try that. Speed 0. Let's see, it's taking quite some time to draw those 300 triangles. Whoa, that's a lot faster. Awesome. Let's move on to challenge 2. All right. We're going to spice things up in this challenge, and we're going to go ahead and modify our loop, and we're going to make this 119 degrees and just hit run. And I think I know what's going to happen. I'm puzzling out the angle's going to change. Look at that. That's so cool. All right. And if you're curious as to know how did that happen, there's a more detailed explanation. But so now we're going to add a color to our loop. So we're just going to go ahead and add color. I'm going to go with green. and see what happens. Wow, that looks so much cooler. Let's go check out challenge 3. An element of surprise. Let's make our artworks a little bit less predictable. How do we do that, you might ask? Well, we're going to just use random functions. So random functions are commonly used in programs that require random outcomes, such as games, simulations, or other types of programs. So we're going to explore this randint function. So what that means is it's a random integer. It's going to call random numbers in the places where we use numbers to specify things like RGB. So first things first, we need to create variables. I'm going to go ahead and write out some variables. So we've got random red, random green, and random blue. So you may notice here, I have forgotten to use my underscore. That's just a reminder that when we use long variable names, we use our underscore to specify our variable names. All right, and then we're going to make each of our variables equal to this little code snippet. So I'm just going to invite you to copy and paste that. And if I hit run, nothing changes because I'm not yet using my variables. So we're going to write each of these variables in our color. So if you remember when we did the RGB, red, blue, green, we could use them in our colors. And we're going to go ahead and do the same. So we're going to go call our variable names in each of the places. So random red, that's R. I'm going to ask for random green. That's for G. And then I'm going to go for random blue. And that's for red. And now, if I hit run, my program changes color all by itself. And I didn't specify the color. How cool is that? I could hit run again, and you may notice what it is doing is every single time it is randomly selecting the amount of red, green, and blue to produce color for our program. Awesome. So fun fact is our numbers 0 to 59 are our darker spectrum colors, and 60 to 100 are our lighter spectrum colors. So for example, if we go and modify this and we make this 0 to, let's say, 59, we should only see darker colors. And let's see if this holds true. All right, and we can test our theories with code. That's what I love about code. There's no mistakes. We can just have theories and hypotheses and then go test them. So these all seem to be pretty dark colors. So if I modify this to be between 60 and 100, I'm anticipating lighter spectrum colors. So let's go check out if that is what happens. Maybe like a light pink or light orange. There we go. Brilliance. So that gives you a sense of how you might play around with your randint function ranges. All right, next, what happens if we move the variables inside our loop? I'm going to let you pause here and puzzle it out and see if you have any theories, and maybe you want to experiment with what happens. I'm going to go ahead and add my random variables to within my loop, and I'm going to see what that does to my program. Wow, that's so cool. Every single line is now a different color. That's awesome. So our bonus challenges invite us to explore modifying our angles. We can play around with angles. We can play around with our, let's see, 90. I want to make this bigger for 200. Colors, you can, maybe you want to change your range in terms of I'm gonna go here, pen 10. I'm just really experimenting and exploring with my code at this point. Woo! Party square! And that is project 6, looping shapes, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Really, it's up to you how you'd like to experiment and play. There's no right or wrong. This is your artwork, so it's really just an invitation to be as creative as you like. Time for reflection. So, you know the drill. We're going to copy our quiz code. We're going to uncomment our code and hit run to initiate our quiz. And remember to do these. This is a great way to consolidate your understanding and recap the concepts we're mastering as we go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you so much for coding with me. I hope you had fun with this project and making really creative, engaging artworks and spicing it up with some random functions.